In this video, I seek to provide a much needed textual criticism update as to not only the word choice in Matthew 19:9, but what the textual criticism experts have been discovering in relation to it. I turn to Bible Hub Matthew 19:9, the multi-file. And again, these are textual criticism authors, um, but I take notice of the date of their authorship. Um, and in fact, Thayer is out of 1880s, and so it kind of begs for update. And yet, this author does continual editing of updates, and this is of course an update also. But even the provided word doesn't explain why to look away from the Textus Recepticus. Um, why why has the King James and all of English Bibles and etc. maintained the Textus Recepticus while while the discovery of updates provide a different word? To help resolve this issue, I looked to a book on Google, not even Google Book, but just Google, called The Biblical Teaching on Divorce and Remarriage. And it's a book that narrows its emphasis toward divorce and remarriage. And of course, well, that's by Dr. Leslie McFall. And it being a 2014 book out of 2007 book. And as the table of contents indicates, it narrows a study toward Erasmus and toward the Textus Recepticus. This author narrows the study down to what text was available to Erasmus at the time, narrowing it to the Codex. I'm going to just refer to it as its common name as Manuscript 69. This being one of the textual sources that was available in early 1500s. One of the uniquenesses of this codex is um, the study of the various corrections that are made to the original text, and the corrections are put into the margins um, of the main text. And there's 40 that was available in the time of Erasmus, but an additional 154 cents. And here are the first 40 um, that would have been present in the time of Erasmus. And this is the 154 um, additional corrections. One of the major um, records accessible to Erasmus was the Codex Vaticanus, and Vaticanus is located a record inside the Vatican, and it was uh, noted that there is a copyist error in the original record of Matthew 19:9. Here's verse 9 of Matthew 19. The copyist error is this word right here, and that's Parektoc, or in our language, periektos. And periektos is a um, word that needs compared to um, the Codex Sinaiticus. Obviously, the um, periektos quote is comes out of Matthew 5:32 instead of Matthew 19:9. Pulled up Codex Sinaiticus, um, it being a comparative to the Codex Vaticanus, but you have to compare them. And I've plugged in Matthew 19:9, and here's Matthew 19:9. Um, well, here's the original text, but in same form, microscopically, it's over here, and here's not for pornea. So that is meaningful evidence to begin a correction. Uniquely, the comparative between Sinaiticus and Vaticanus is that they come uh, out of a similar era of time of um, 300 and some AD, if not earlier. There's measures of earlier studies back into 100 and some. This is the a copy of the MS 69 record that was very accessible during Erasmus era. And it also has periectos in it. Um, this being Parekatoi or S or OU ending. And this is an example of a margin uh, corrector. The person who wrote this is referred to as a corrector. And of course, that's um, the word void right there. So uh, the reason to avoid uh, periectos is because it's not even a correct word. Um, and as for this is EI, not, or, and then etc. So the author of this book went into great detail to prove that Erasmus didn't write this. This wasn't his correction, but the correction came much later uh, into time frames after he died. So so then it becomes where did he come up with the if not quote? He had access to the Vulgate, but the Vulgate was in Latin, and to translate into Latin is to enable adulterations, basically, of which there is. identifiable adulterations within the word nisi. That's the Latin accept. As you might recall from Thayer's study on NISI, on the study of accept, uh, Thayer pointed out that Old Latin used to be ni, and so ni was the word not, and nisi is the word accept. And so there's essentially Old Latin and Modern Latin. This isn't meant to minimize periectos, but it belongs where it belongs, and it belongs in Matthew 5:32. To reiterate the obvious here, um, from page 26, uh, there's a quote out of a different author, um, clarifying that periectos logo hornii, from Matthew 5:32 was a mistake into Matthew 19:9. The since Erasmus did not get his reading of if not out of Matthew 19:9 from uh, manuscript 69, it becomes increasingly obvious that Erasmus must have made up the Greek text himself because he wanted to impose his theology on the text. The issue then becomes, do all denominations want to maintain this incorrectness, or do they want to update it with a correct text? Meanwhile, a correct text is not required for choosing correctly, and correctly is to realize that Christ calls you to Himself instead of calls you to divorce.